You. Yo, what up, y'all? Welcome to another Monday night Futhamuckin Protocol. We going live. We are going live, as it tells Futhamuckin followers. Big Ricky 63, what up? Delfino, what up? Shump 3, what up? Lamont Beasy, I see you, fam. Dr. Chauncey, what up? What's going on? Karina, what's going on? Hey, yo. Hugh Mizzle, the incredible Fahad, peace. What's going on? Peace to everybody coming back in. It's good to see you. Okay, back straight. How you say that? Straight ahead. Oh, I see what you did there. What's going on, man? Hey, I was just watching this thing on the Tiger King. They can't get enough of it. Red Rose, Pink Heart. Nice. Hello, Stephen John Schwartz. What's going on? Schwartz, mate. I'm sorry. Big Mel Brooks fan. If you couldn't tell. Good to see y'all. Glad y'all tuning back in. Global Freeze, what up? Good to see you back. It's always good seeing the cats that come back every week. Yes, we still are cool. Cal Beasy, what up, fam? How do you do your Denzel? I guarantee. How do I do? What a guarantee? I guarantee. You know, Denzel always he guarantee. What's the line? I guarantee that. Yeah, it's Pepsi is a brand name. I stand behind it. I guarantee. Yeah, I guarantee. That's how he's. But you know what? This is the character. It's the characters. That's how Frank says it. I don't know if that's how Denzel says it, probably though. Sincerely, J. Glow, what a deal. I see plunder. What have you plundered? A dude named Ben, what up? What's going on? Yo, did the temperature drop where y'all are? Because it's in the 50s in New York. The temperature dropped quite drastically. It was nearly 80 last week, and now it's 50-something. Global Freeze, your name is fitting for the weather we're experiencing, because the weather definitely dropped. Coke and Lee, what's going on? We're waiting for my guest, good friend of mine. I had people, you know what? Also, let me put out there, because I've had some people say, yeah, we want, how come there aren't more women? I reach out to women. That don't mean they reach back. You know what I'm saying? So it's 80s there in Cali, show off. It's a cool Futhamuckin shirt. And my guest is here, and here we go. She's going. We're about to bring her in live right now. So it's about rolling your tongue. The DOS Effects show. Oh shoot, he just took me back. Nika King, what's going on, Nick?
What's good? Sorry,
Chilling.
I had a costume change.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
I
okay.
Sweater and it was hot. I was like, no. I need to change.
Guys, it's working. You're looking fierce. Nick Comedy, what's up, Nick? Hope all is well with you, fam. Nick, April, what's going on? I usually start off by giving all the people shout outs, because we have a lot of people that come in every week and support what we doing. And the numbers are increasing. But for those that don't know, this is the Futhamuckin Protocol Live. Every Monday night we do this, where I have some of my favorite people, my favorite comedians, and closest friends that happen to be comedians that I miss, such as Nika King, come on and toss it up, and we get into their history. We get under the hood of their car.
What?
To find
Hold
out.
on, wait, the hood. You ain't say all that when you asked me to do the show now. I don't know if I want you under my hood.
Look.
You can change the tire, maybe, but under the hood, yeah.
We find out what makes them tick. And my guest tonight, who just posted a picture that that I sent to her about an hour.
Way back.
We go back like Spinal Cord. Let me read down a list of some of her wonderful and illustrious credits. First of all, Nika, where in Florida are you from originally?
I am from Liberty City, Florida.
Liberty City. I wouldn't. Yeah, I wanted to be specific because I know people in Florida real specific. So Liberty City, repping Liberty City. You've seen her. I first met her. She was part of an amazing sketch group called Elite Delta Force 3. I always mess up the number, but I got it right this time.
I see you looking up on the side, though. I see
That you dare right. You've seen her great stages all over LA, the Comedy Union, Comedy Store, Laugh Factory, CSI Miami, all of us, Hannah Montana, Big Black Comedy Show, Universal Remote, co-starring myself, Charlie Murphy, and Affion Crockett.
Yes.
Wilding out.
I forgot Charlie Murphy was in that movie with us.
Yeah, Charlie was in there. Charlie was in there. I think Charlie's on the box cover.
How could I forget that? That was one of my first Black movies in LA. I was so happy to do that. I thought that movie was going to make me famous. I'm like, this is it.
We all had a grand ideas of what was going to happen with Universal Remote. And shout out to Gary Hardwick, who did a great job. But that's the nature of the beast. You never know what's going to happen. Did an amazing parody that I just rewatched of Run This Town with Affion. Yes. There was a spoof of Run This Town called Find Chris Brown?
Hunt Chris Brown.
Hunt Chris Brown.
Rihanna. That's right.
Yeah, she played Rihanna, did an amazing job. And it's y'all could go find that on YouTube. Look up Hunt Chris Brown or Run This Town, Affion and Nika King. And most recently, and we also worked on Comedy Coliseum, which I forgot about. Are you serious? We did Comedy Coliseum, which was a pilot.
I remember the show because I thought it was a stupid show. And I was just like, I'm like, is this what my career is going to be about? Like making people laugh in 30 seconds? I'm like, but back then we didn't care. As long as there was a check attached to it, we were like, sure, this is great. We love it. But I remember Tig Notaro was on the show.
Tig.
Who else was on the show with us?
Oh, damn. Who's on there? Tig Notaro, Freddie. Man, I can't think of Freddie's last name.
Like black guy, light skin, kind of thin.
Black guy, light skin, has a beard.
Yes, I know who you're talking about. We was deep in there. We were deep.
It was a lot. The Greg Wilson was on there.
Yes.
The Greg Wilson. It was a bunch of cows. We're gonna get into that too.
They're all alcoholics now, so it doesn't matter.
And most recently, you can catch her on season 1, which I binge watched during the quarantine and was thoroughly impressed. HBO's EUPHORIA, where you star as Leslie Bennett, Rue's mom. Rue is played by the Emmy-winning Zendaya. So my guest tonight, Miss Nika King, in the building. What's going on, girl? How you doing?
Hey, I'm above ground, so I can't complain.
Right, exactly.
I'm in New York, actually. You know that. Right. I'm staying in Harlem, and it's been raining all day, so I've been enjoying the sounds of the melodic raindrops, and so and the gunfire and the ambulance and the police. That's
called balance. That's the balance.
It's been a nice mix for me.
That's the
nostalgia.
Right.
So all is well, man. No complaints.
Where were you live? Because that's like a big jump. Because where were you staying in LA, in Cali?
I was in the Valley.
So you're in the Valley. So you went from the Valley to Harlem, to East Harlem.
East Harlem. Yeah. It's been interesting.
I'm sure.
And listen, I grew up in the hood, so believe me, I'm no stranger.
Right.
To the hood-tastic ambiance.
Right.
But last night it was interesting. It was like these big cannonballs. Like it was like, I don't know if it was firework. I don't know if somebody was letting off a chopper. I'm like, what the hell is happening? Like, should I be afraid? Is a gas explosion going? Like I was literally terrified. And I said, you know what? If I'm gonna die, might as well be in Harlem, right? I mean,
right.
Let's make it poetic,
Hey, Homer Langston, why not? Now, what made you relocate? Because I know, but I'd like you to tell people what made you decide to come stay in New York for a couple of months.
Well, I'm on hiatus. for a couple months. And so I wanted to experience New York because right after college, I came to New York to be a Broadway star. That was my—
Is that right?
Yes, that was my dream. I had my theater degree in hand, and I was like, I'm going to New York to be a Broadway star.
No, you say it. I'm going to New York.
The problem is, I wasn't ready. New York is a beast, and on top of that, I was staying in New Jersey, which was kind of like, you know, I was doing the whole commute back and forth back and forth, but I lasted for like 2 months, and then I went home.
Really?
Yeah, I lasted for 2 months. I'm not. You know, it took a lot for me to come, and then when I got here and I realized that I was immature, I really wasn't focused. I was still running after boys and, you know, going here and going there. And I remember coming here, having an audition for Ntagazi Shange, one of her plays, and I got a call back.
Oh, that's
and
dope.
I had flown to Indianapolis on a whim, and they were like, oh, so the callback's tomorrow. And so I was like, oh, I'm not in New York. And I think about that, and I'm like, you know, that could have been my beginning to be on Broadway, off Broadway, but it was, you know.
Yeah, and Tazaki's, that's big things there.
So I went home, I regrouped, and then I moved to LA.
Okay. What made you say— that's funny, because you're like, New York's a little too— what made you say, you know what, LA is a better fit at that time in your life?
One, I could drive.
Okay.
That was a big deciding factor for me. I needed to— public transportation in New York scared me.
Okay.
So that was one of the reasons why I couldn't get into the groove of it. So I was like, oh, I'm going to LA. I'll take my Honda Civic and I'll be fine. And the weather is similar, and there's palm trees, and there's beaches.
Right.
And so LA seemed in my mind to be a better fit.
Why is a Honda Civic everybody's like first starter car?
Always.
Everybody has
but I did not want a Honda Civic. I begged my mom for a Ford F-150 truck, and she was like, hell no. You're a girl. Girls don't drive trucks. I'm like, what? How sexist are you? Like, I still want that truck.
I thought you were going to say a Ford Escort, because I was like, well, that was my first car. Nah, you would try to.
No.
I'm
5'10", Dean. I'm tall. So
no, I'm 6'4", but I also knew I had financial limitations.
Right.
You know, Ford F-150, excuse us, thrust the
right,
children.
but I had champagne taste very, very early in life. I want the F-150.
Right.
And
So take me back. You were you a theater, like in school, coming up in elementary and junior high and high school? Were you a theater geek?
I don't know if I was a geek as much as I was just a performer.
Okay.
Like
you're an artiste.
Yeah, I was an artiste. I was a thespian.
Okay.
I think my first performance was I was 5, and I recited Langston Hughes' "Madam and Her Madam."
Okay.
I won first place in the Theodore oratorical contest, and that was my thing. Now every year I was performing plays and poems and stuff for the school, for the African Cultural Center. And then when I went to junior high, I think I got more so into sports. I started playing like soccer, basketball, volleyball. And then in high school, you know, in the hood, they don't have theater programs. You know, you either play a sport or you a majorette, you know. So so I played basketball. And then when I went to college at the University of Florida, I was going to be a physical therapist, only because I did like a college awareness program where you figure out what's going to make a lot of money in 5 years. Right. And so I was like, oh, I'll be a physical therapist. They're going to make money. And so I realized science is not my thing. So then I was an occupational therapist. Then I realized math ain't my thing. So then I was a rehabilitative services therapist. Oh, damn. And I just said, I'm gonna see what this acting for non-majors is talking about over here. And I found my happy place.
Oh, that's dope. Well, and did you do a couple of productions while you were in college?
Oh yeah, we had to. It was a part of the curriculum. We did Bertolt Brecht, we did Shakespeare, we did August Wilson. We
Oh,
did
wow.
a lot of plays that did not prepare me for Hollywood at all. But
Well,
no, it did. It did in a way
yeah.
because, you know, when you think about going to college to be an actor, because I didn't want to go to college.
Mhm.
My mom was like, you have no choice. You're going to
Right.
college because I received an academic scholarship. So it was just a no-brainer.
Right.
But I wanted to go straight to Hollywood. I was like,
Right.
I knew, yeah. I knew what I wanted to be.
So if you had an academic scholarship, you were smart.
I was a little bit.
Yeah, nah. you mean that's humility right there.
A little
Yeah,
bit.
that means you did well enough. Look, I wasn't getting no academic scholarship. I wasn't getting any kind of scholarship, you know. So
But
that's
I enjoyed, you know, I was a student athlete. You know, I enjoyed I wasn't good enough to get a college scholarship for sports.
okay.
No, you know what? I take that back. I did get a scholarship for Bethune-Cookman College. That was the only college that was willing to give me a basketball scholarship. And I tooted my nose up. I was like, I'm not going to Bethune-Cookman College.
Why?
I am going to a prestigious university, and I wanted to go to Clark Atlanta. I sent my basketball tape, and they was like, ooh. I mean, you can come.
Right.
You can apply.
Right.
We can't give you no money to come and play basketball for us.
What position did you play? Small forward?
I played power forward and center.
Power forward?
Yes.
Okay.
Our team was very short. Very
Oh,
short
okay.
and fast. We were a defense squad, but you know, for me, playing sports was more so, now that I think about it, how to kind of achieve something as a collective. Yeah. And I think filmmaking and TV and film is that. It's creating something as a team. Yeah. So I know how to be a team player. You know, I know how to play my position. And, you know, I know how to rebound. I averaged 14 rebounds a game. So.
Oh, wow. That's
14 rebounds, 3 points. I was like a Dennis Rodman.
Yeah, you know what's funny? That was my favorite. The Lakers were my team, even though I'm in New York. The Knicks were my number 2. So shout out to all the Lakers Nation out there, because we just got number 17. But Dennis Rodman was the player I based my game off of, because I wasn't good at shooting.
So you got to find something you're good at and just work it. For me, it was rebounding. Like that was my thing. I'm like, nobody's gonna out rebound me. Right. I like Dennis Rodman. I like Patrick Ewing. So for me, my game was always centered around one, getting to the hole and rebounding, and then playing great defense. Yeah. Thank you so much. You were so good in Euphoria, Natanya. I'm forgetting, like, people are alive, and so I'm like,
right. No, and for everybody, shout out to everybody that's tuning in. I see your waves, but I don't like interrupting people when they're going with, and I just want to say a shout out, you know. You know, because
it's okay. I'm used to it, Dean. I'm a comedian. I'm used to people heckling me.
So well, you also had refined taste from a young age, because not only did you want a Ford F-150, but you turned your nose up at the school that said, here's some free money. Yeah. But you were so focused on Clark Atlanta.
You know, I was one of those kids, man. I just was unruly, you know. Right. And my mom, I did not want to go to Florida, because I remember, like, around the time, I think I was a senior in high school. They had a serial killer up there. I think his name was Danny Rollins or something. And I remember saying to myself, like, I'm not going there. My mom was like, you black. Ain't nobody coming for you.
Right.
You going to Florida.
Right. Now your blue book value is lower. You'll be fine.
So I ended up in Florida. I was the first in my family to graduate college.
Oh, that's dope.
My mom and my uncle actually went to Florida. Neither one graduated. My mom got pregnant, and my uncle was
With
kicked
you?
out for stealing. So I had to go.
Oopsies.
So I had to go and represent the good side of the family and say,
Right.
We are upstanding citizens, and we
Of
can
course.
go to college without being kicked out or getting
Right.
So that happened.
Was your mom super proud? Because I mean, you were the first. I always wonder when I hear stories or see stories where they're like they were the first in their family to go and to graduate. I'm always like, I wonder, did you feel a certain amount of pressure while you were going? Did your family project that pressure onto you?
No pressure was really like I've never had pressure in the sense of like you have to do this. It's, you know, all the weight is on your shoulder to be the first of this and the first of that. I've never had that happen from anybody in my family, but it was an internal kind of pressure that I put on myself to be great, to graduate, to kind of not get pregnant, not get caught up, you know. So I was very like focused, you know, with the blinders on. And then my brother went on to graduate from Florida, and so you know it was a legacy for us to kind of have that experience where, okay, you got moms and uncle, you know, who went, and because everybody in my family is smart, like we're smart people, but we're also a little hood-tastic, you know, you know, little street
Again,
smart.
that's the balance. That's the balance right there.
Little street smart, little book smart, you know.
Right. You need that.
You know?
You need that.
Exactly.
So you graduated. You went to New York thinking you were about to, you know, blow up on Broadway, as I'm sure all actors do. But you wound up going back home, and then eventually, how much time were you back home before you went to LA?
Well, when I went home, I started teaching high school, actually.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I taught at my old high school, Carroll City. Shout out to Carroll City 305, Rick Ross. And taught there for a year because I was able to pay off my loans. And
oh, that's good.
So I was like, okay, it's a plus to go back to the hood. I wasn't thinking about giving back to the kids. I was like, I'm getting these loans paid off.
Right.
And then I found out that I actually love to teach, and it was like a double kind of benefit of being a young teacher to really connect with the kids. I taught a year, then I quit. I was like, I'm going to LA to be a movie star. And then 9/11 happened. And then I was like, I'm not going anywhere. I am going back to that school and beg for my job. And so,
so hold up. So you had already quit. And then 9/11, you like, hey, y'all still got my desk?
Yep. I had quit. I had saved up like $7,000. Like I was like, this is it. If I don't do it now, I'm not gonna, you know, because you know, you get comfortable when you're getting a check and you're, you know, you have benefits and all that stuff. So I saved all my money, and I knew like I'm out of there at the end of the year.
Right.
And then 9/11 happened. I was on a plane on 9/11. Yes.
Wow. Where? Where was the plane headed?
It was headed to somewhere I wasn't supposed to be going to see somebody. Going to be grown. And the Lord was like, oh, let me take this plane out the sky. Let me let you know who's in charge. I think I was headed to Atlanta. And I just remember being on the plane and the pilot coming on saying, we're deplaning in Jacksonville. And I was like, oh, it was just odd, right? No reason why. And then when we deplaned, it was pandemonium. Like people were literally watching the footage. People were crying.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Wow. It was wild. And then I was like, oh my gosh, the world is ending. It's ending. And I need to get home. So the lady who I was sitting next to on the plane, it was a big, fat black lady. And I'm not being like mean by saying that she was fat as fuck, but she was over. That's
the description.
She was on my side. I was like, man. But she was nice though. So when we got off the plane, we was rolling, and she was like, damn, I can't go get my bags. I'm like, just go get your, like, I'm gonna get mine. We just go get our bags.
Right.
So that's when I found out she was trafficking drugs. And that's why she couldn't go and get her bag. So yeah. Yeah, I was sitting next
to a drug mule.
Yeah.
She wasn't fat, she had the drugs on her.
She had the drugs. I didn't know. Nobody told me. I didn't know that people actually still did that.
Wow.
Yeah. So
wow.
So I'm like, okay, so now I'm thinking I gotta choose, right?
Right.
Because she was from Florida and she was like, well, let's go rent a car together.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, do I take my chances? Like
right.
the Most High was really
yes.
testing me. So
yes.
all of the cars were rented. The only car that was left was a red Jeep. The smallest red Jeep in your whole freaking life. This Jeep was so small. And I said, okay, I'm rolling with the mule. I'm rolling
right.
with let's
in a red Jeep.
He was like, my son gonna kill me. And I was like, I don't want to hear this, ma'am. I don't want to know what's going on. Help me, Lord. So we got up in that red Jeep and we was pushing it 100. I was, and then in my mind, I'm like, this Jeep is gonna flip over. This is gonna be my last. This is how I die. This is how you do me. Okay.
You look at that guy like word.
Like word. So here we are. I did not succumb to the overturning of a Jeep. I took my butt home. I regrouped. I got my job back, and then I quit again. And then I moved to LA, and I've been in LA ever since.
So when you, I'm sorry, going back to the drug mule. How many hours? Because you said the plane, you got deplaned, and was it in? Did you say Pensacola, Jacksonville? So how many hours was that from? You flew out of Miami.
Yeah, I flew out. So that was about, I think Jacksonville is about 5 to 6 hours.
So it's only like a 45-minute flight, but it's a 5-6 hour drive.
Right.
So you had to. So hold up. So you're driving with the drug mule. You don't. She didn't get her bags.
No.
For
and
all
I
we
didn't
know,
she had drugs on her either.
Exactly.
Because the police were in the airport. They were like with the dogs and everything, and I was just saying to myself, like, oh my gosh, like, but because when you're afraid, you don't want to be alone. Okay.
Right.
You're looking for any sense of, you know, and she had the big titties, so I'm like, I just wanted to lay. I just wanted to. I'm like, Mama, I want my mama. I want my mama. But yeah, we made it. We made it to the crib. We made it to the 305. And when I saw my mom, I was just like, oh my gosh. And my mom didn't know I was going out of town. She had no clue. So she was
really?
Like, yeah.
Did you tell her? Did you ever tell her?
Well, I just found out that the day 9/11, my sister called my mom and was like, Nene's on a plane. And my mom was like, she was like, what? Nene is on a plane. And my mom was like, find her. Like, she was like, telling my sister to find her. And my sister found me. She figured it out. And we was just laughing about it because I don't know how my sister found me, but she did.
Did your sister know Atlanta? Did your sister know the whomever who? Okay, so no, I'm like, she had to use deductive reasoning.
She's my sister. I'm telling her everything.
Right, of course.
You ain't telling mama, you know, mama be asking.
No, you don't tell moms, but you're like, his license plate number is
too much.
Right.
Mom didn't even know. Now mom knows all the details. Mom knows all the details.
Right.
Knows all the details.
Right. Well, she just was up here with you, right? She was just.
My mom's been rolling with me for like the last 2 months. She's just been living her best life.
That's dope. That's dope. Well, that's dope, and it's even doper that her daughter is on a hit show on HBO. So that just makes it even more special because I think that's we all grind so that we can give our parents that sort of that proud moment that and they can get a victory laugh, even though it's a global pandemic, going on outside is still.
Well, my mom did not want me to be an actor. My mom
Really?
wanted me to stay being a teacher and collect insurance and have a stable job. And I remember calling her one day in college, and I said, "Mom, I know what I want to be. I want to be. I changed my major. I'm gonna be an actor." She was like, "You don't take your ass back down there and change it back. Don't play with me, girl. Don't play with me." I said, "No, Mom, for real. Like, if you think about it, I've been doing it since I was 5. Like, it makes sense." She was like, "Nene, don't play with me.
Right.
Take your ass back down there and change your major back to physical therapy. I'm not playing with you." Because no parent wants their kids to really go through
the struggle.
But I remember too, being in Miami and teaching school, and I remember I called in because I booked a commercial, and it was just extra work. But because I'm young still, I want to be an actor, so I call in. It's down on South Beach, and they're kind of wrangling up all the extras, and I see some of my students, and I'm like, "What y'all doing here?" They're like, "What you doing here?" I'm like, "I'm trying to be in this commercial. Get your ass back to school." You feel me? So they have like the scene. It was from Motorola, and they have a scene, and you have on your bikini and you're dancing, and it's so much fun, And so they have me on top of the house dancing with, it's all of us extras. So I'm being, me, I'm being goofy, I'm being silly, I'm dancing, but I'm just doing extra. Right. So they say, "Cut." It was like, "You in the black bathing suit, can you come down?" Damn, they sending me home, like, because I done did the most, right? I done did too much.
Right.
So they go, "Okay, we're going to Taft Harley you." I didn't know what that meant.
Oh wow.
They was like, we're gonna make you the lead in this commercial, and so they start doing the storyboard and all of this, and that's how I got into SAG.
Wow.
And when I showed my mom that first check, she was like, "You know what? I always knew you was gonna be somebody." I said, "Really?" It took for you to see some money, for you to realize. So,
and then it took another like 8 months before you booked another spot.
Exactly.
It
wasn't until I got to LA and I realized, oh, okay, you got to pay the rest of that money so you can start making some real money. But that's been my whole journey on this whole thing. Yeah. Everything's been kind of like working in my favor, always. Yeah. It may not be when I thought it was going to be, but it always worked in my favor.
On time, yeah. So take me there. You get to LA. Well, around what year? Did you?
I'm not telling that.
Okay.
I'm thinking about my.
You know what? I always ask people, and if they want to tell me, fine, and if not, that's okay.
I got there when I got there.
Okay, I ain't mad at that. So, when did you first get on stage as a stand-up? Good, because before you even answer that, because for those that don't know, Nika is varied in her ranges. That's one of the things that I've always dug about you. I told you from the first time I saw you with your sketch group that you're a talented actress, but you also are a talented stand-up and also a talented sketch performer. And a lot of people can't do all of those and do them well. Mm-hmm. So I'm curious how you balanced between, rocking stages as a stand-up and then also working with Neff and the rest of your crew and White Angela, as we used to call her, for yeah.
Well, when I came to LA, I knew I wanted to be on a sketch show. I immediately started studying at the Groundlings because that was kind of like the school where top sketch performers went to, and so I wanted to be on I grew up watching In Living Color with characters.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey's my favorite, you know.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I would be in high school, you know, doing all the characters, the fire marshal, come here, let me tell you something. One day, they're just walking down the street and bam, that's such a. I was like, I have to be on somebody's show doing that.
Right,
doing
right.
Stupid and goofy. And so I was first a part of a sketch group called Cleo's Apartment. And then the girls from that sketch show, we did an all-black female sketch show called Elite Delta Force 3. And then I was like, well, I kind of want to develop my own voice. And at the time I was kind of dabbling in stand-up, but I wasn't like serious about it. But when I first came to LA, I did a comedy competition where Kim Whitley was one of the judges at the Ha Ha Cafe. And then we became cool. And then I was just always hanging around comedians. She got me on Big Black Comedy Show. I wasn't doing comedy for 6 months. Then I did that show. So after that, it was just, you know how it is. You be around comics and they're like, oh, you want to do this show? You want to do that show? So yeah, stand-up was like my my personal, you know, mission to be funny by myself.
Right.
And I just love it. I absolutely love doing stand-up because it's like no other art form.
Right.
You know, it's just you and that mic. That's
yeah,
it.
it's pure.
That's
it's pure and untainted. Yeah, that's what most stand-ups all sort of have that same reverence for it, because unlike, you know, I always say with as an actor, you know, you're possibly, you know, reading someone else's lines and you're taking someone else's direction. As a singer, same thing. If you're singing, you might be singing someone else's lyrics, or a producer is guiding it. As a stand-up, you get to really just, you are the writer, the producer, the director, the script supervisor. You know, you're wearing all the hats. You're the boom mic operator. You know, but there's also beauty in having that much control over it, because everything lives or dies based on what you do and how you do it. You know, so I think
and you're always evolving. You know, like what your content and your set, as much as you live and experience life, that's gonna always be changing. And you know, what I did just 5 years ago it's not, you know, it's not important for me to say what I want to say right now today in 2020. You know, yeah, and I just love being on stage, because you know I got abandonment issues, but other than that, you know, I pretty much.
Don't we all?
You're like, I need confirmation constantly.
Right. So I also, because I was such a fan of here's how
you just got blurry. You know that, right?
Did I just get blurred? Oh wow, what just happened?
Oh, there you go. That melanin was.
Yeah.
It was too much. It was.
So the first time I saw you, it was my man, I think Ian Edwards. I was this funny comic, good friend. Ian was like, "Yo, you know what we got? I want to take you, go check out this sketch group, Elite Delta Force 3." And I was like, what the hell is that? You know, I didn't know what the hell this was. And I think y'all were doing, I don't know if it was a week or a couple of nights in a row at a small theater, but it was packed. We went twice. And I remember going, I was like, yo, y'all was so dope, because it was you, like I said, Angela Yarborough, Nefertari Spencer, Robin Thede, and was there one more?
It was, Robin Thede and Nikia Gamby and Lishay Tomlinson, and then later on Indira Wilson joined. It was we had a great group. Funny.
Yo, I'm telling y'all, I don't even know if y'all have stuff online, but y'all, you know, for comics to come out, because that's the other thing. To have gone twice, those were nights that we should have been on stage.
Right. And the stand-ups don't play that. Like they like 2 nights in a row. Yeah, y'all was doing the most.
Nah, but y'all were, it was crisp, and the timing, and that's the thing with sketch performing
Mm-hmm.
is, like you said earlier, you know, when you were playing basketball,
Mm-hmm.
you're a team player. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you have to be a team player, and you have to know when to give someone else
Mm-hmm.
their chance to shine, and then for
Right.
you to capitalize on your time.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the timing
Mm-hmm.
that you all had, and the chemistry you all had was crisp. It was
Yeah.
amazing.
And that wasn't overnight. Like, you know,
Right.
that's something that years, because we were also in a group before that. So we already had like a rapport with each other and just knew
Okay.
each other's strengths, and
Right.
and worked on just becoming like the go-to group, sketch group for, you
Right.
know, talent,
Right.
you know, because we all
Right.
did different impersonations and characters and stuff like that. And for me, that was my heaven,
Yeah.
to be in a sketch group with just Black women. We're
Right.
writing, we're producing our own stuff, and it was just like, you know, it was good times.
Yeah, yeah. No, and you could tell, I mean, just even how you're speaking on it now,
Mm-hmm.
but back then it came across, because I remember seeing people, you know, names, like
Mm-hmm.
there were people that had names in Hollywood that were
Yeah.
coming and
Yeah.
checking y'all out,
You
and
know,
this is before social media.
we were supposed to be on TV. Like, we
Yeah.
were way ahead of our time.
Right,
I mean,
right.
when I look at some of the catchphrases and some of the stuff that people say now, I'm like, we were saying that on stage
Right.
like 10 years ago. You know,
Right.
we were doing those characters 10 years ago. I mean, I
Mhm.
played a man, you know, I
Yeah.
played Freebird, you know,
Yeah,
nobody
character
was doing stuff like that.
the character
Like,
was funny.
not in the way that we were doing it, you know.
Right.
And so I think we were definitely trendsetters in that way.
Yeah.
So it's been an interesting journey of
Mhm.
kind of starting in the comedy world and then not ending up, because I'm still in Hollywood,
Right, you
still
still,
in the
yeah.
industry, but, you know, coming into my dramatic career.
Yeah, and I'm working towards that. What would you say was your first big, I guess, TV or film opportunity?
Delicious. I played a high-end call girl named Delicious.
What was the name of the project?
It was CSI Miami. I'll never forget it. That was my first TV credit.
Mhm.
I played Delicious, and
Delicious.
I had on all my clothes. It was great. But, you know, it was one of those things that, you know, theater did not prepare me to be on set, right? Because some experiences you have to just go through to really
Right.
learn, right? It's like
Right.
on set training. And I remember being on set, and the camera was on me, and then they were like, okay, we're gonna do a turnaround. And I was like, I had never heard of that, but you know, you don't want to appear green. So
You don't say you don't know.
Yeah,
Right.
you're turn.
Oh, okay.
I was a turn around. Okay, cool. Don't turn. Okay, cool. So they, you know, move the camera, they turn it around, and so everything's set up, and they go action, and the guy come in, where is he? You know, squat, where is he? And I'm just looking at him. I did not say my lines because I thought, well, the camera's off me.
Right.
I don't have to perform.
Right.
And then they cut, and then they said, okay.
Cut.
Because, you know, they listen. Time is money. That's when you time is money. Don't be messing up these takes, girl. You got 5 lines.
Right.
No, and you are not the star. So get it right. And that's when I learned what a turnaround meant, and then I learned you still got to say your lines, and you know. So it was cool though, because I was like, you know, I'm on CSI Miami, and I'm from Miami. And,
right. That's
you know,
dope.
so it was like, ooh, it was a big deal, you know.
Right.
So yeah, that was my first TV credit.
And I was gonna ask you to elaborate when you said what are some of the differences between your theater training versus actually learning television and film, like, you know, the differences, some of the differences that you find as an actress you face working on that, a turnaround being one of them?
Well, I think when you're performing live theater, there
Mm-hmm.
are no second, third, fourth, fifth takes. You know,
Right.
you have to be on point, and you're connecting with an actor on stage. So it's different. It's different acting, right? You know, I've been on set sometimes, and I'm not even in a scene with a human being. I'm talking to a piece of tape on camera, but you still have to emote. You still have to connect. And so I think acting becomes a little more, I don't want to say robotic, but it becomes a little more technical, as opposed to if I'm acting with a person, hopefully I'm able to connect, because I've been in scenes with actors on TV or, you know, film, and they don't give you anything.
Right.
They look at you like, figure it out. And sometimes that's a tactic to kind of get you off your game. So you learn these things, right, as you go, because everybody's not generous and everybody's not kind in Hollywood.
Right.
And some
Really?
people want, yeah, really. Some people want to see you fall on your face.
Right. Because it makes them look better.
Yeah, I've had situations where I you know, I was like, oh, okay, this is what we doing. All right, think fast. Think fast. You got to be on your toes. You got to be quick with it.
Yeah. So you booked CSI. I'm sure your mom's is super happy, because she knows that's another check.
Another check.
She's told everybody.
Oh yeah.
Baby,
oh, now she's autographs, signed autographs for the whole church. Like, come on, this is my baby. She playing delicious. She playing a hoe on CSI Miami. She made it. My baby made it.
But then after that, would you say, like, after you booked your first big gig, did you have an agent at the time?
I've always had an agent, because I've always kind of been in showcases and doing stand-up and doing sketch comedy, and so I've always kind of had platforms to showcase my talent. So having an agent was never like an issue for me. Having the right agent, now that's something different. I remember meeting with names will not be spoken, but
no, you don't have to.
Meeting with a manager, a big time manager, and I was doing all the things, right? The sketch comedy, the stand up, everything, and he was like, "You have to choose one." He's like, He's like, I don't know where to put you. You're all over the place. And I was like, oh, okay. I thought that, in my mind, I thought, well, that's a good thing, right? To have so many, you know, pots on the stove. And so it kind of made me feel like, well, dang, I like doing all of it. So now I have to choose. And now, if you're not a multi-hyphenate, you know, you're like, you're like at the bottom of the barrel. You gotta sing, rap, dance.
Right. You know, be an influencer.
You got to know how to, you know, make alcohol from scratch, you know.
Right.
You know, so.
Right.
I've always been kind of ahead of the curve, I think, with who I am.
So going back to when we worked on Universal Remote, because and here's the thing for those that Universal Remote, it was almost like a sketch movie.
Yeah.
Right? It was like a sketch movie, because there were a bunch of vignettes throughout the movie. Yeah. And we were talking about earlier, Nika had posted a picture in both of our stories from, we did and here's what's funny, we did this court scene. I played a character named DVR, but still didn't understand exactly what it was at the time.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Because I was like,
what's new, right?
DVR it was DVR and was new versus analog or whatever it was called. You know, and I think Gary Hardwick, the director of that film, who also I think he did Deliver Us from Evil.
Yeah, shout out to Gary Hardwick, a prolific writer. I mean, the movie was like brilliant. The movie, it was definitely, no one was making movies like that. That was definitely out of the box.
I think he was ahead of it. He was ahead of his time with it. But if y'all could probably find it on streaming service.
Right.
But so like you said, so after you did that, did you think that I made it? This is
everything I did. I thought
right.
I was there. I'm like, oh, it's a wrap.
Right.
I'm about to blow. Everything I did, I was like, because to go to LA and be on anything,
Right.
it was like back at home, it was a big deal, right? It was like,
Right.
oh my gosh, you're on TV? What?
Right.
You're famous.
Right.
And then you realize it don't work that way.
Right. Right. That's what I was going to ask. When did reality set in? We were like, oh, okay, I guess that check is gone. You know, pays rent and a couple of bills. Right.
When I couldn't pay my rent, when you know, I wanted to quit, and but I would never let my mom know how bad it got. Never in a million years, because in my mind, failure was not an option.
Right.
So
right.
you know, and her whole thing was, baby, you can always come back home, and I'm like, no, I'm not.
Right.
I'm not going back
You're
home.
determined.
No, I'm gonna stick it out. I was a substitute teacher. I've had so many different jobs to stay in LA because you know, I wanted to make sure that I did not lose my moral compass, or I did not lose myself to an industry, because I wanted to be on so bad. So I was willing to do anything. And so for me, I've just always had a job. I was just one of those people that work. I'm not afraid to work, you know, like I've been working since I was 14. So I'm like, okay, just go get a job.
Right. So did you ever, someone asked me this recently, and they were like, did you ever feel like you weren't going to make it and you wanted to throw in the towel? I don't get the sense you did, because you said you didn't let your mother know how bad it was. When would you say you faced like your biggest challenge, you know, in the industry, where you're auditioning, or maybe you're not getting any auditions, you know, and you're just not necessarily feel like you want to throw the towel in, but you're feeling the weight of the world on your shoulders, or did that ever happen?
You know, I think for me, it was more so about the people that made me feel alone, and made me feel like I can't, you know, because I'm very community oriented, you know, like I come from a big family. It's 6 of us. I've always hung around a lot of people. I like to, you know, I just like being around people. I like having fun. I like being genuine and authentic. And then you realize Hollywood is so dog eat dog. And so people who you thought were your friends, you know, they'll turn around and steal your idea. They'll take your script. They'll take your joke. They'll take your character. They'll take, and so that's the taking of, you know, that constant being taken and taken and taken. And I'm just like, damn, you know, is this my life? You know, that's why I'm not in LA right now. I'm like, I need a break from that shit.
Right.
So I never wanted to give up, because I've always known my make it is me doing what I love to do. Right. Every day I'm able to do my talent, my craft, write, tell a joke. You know, I'm winning. You know, I am. I don't put money and fame on the priority list when it comes to success, because that's an outside validation.
I
agree.
Know
what I mean? So for me, you know, having a livelihood, earning my money, and doing my talent, and I think for me that was my measuring stick. And so not giving up was more so about not giving up on people, and not giving up on humanity, and then realizing, oh, you just got to find your tribe. That's all. You just got to find the people that roll with you, that don't want anything from you, that don't expect anything from you. They love you for who you are. They don't care if you're on a hit show. They don't care if you're, you know, living in your car. And hopefully they do care I'm living in my car. And they say, come sleep on the couch. And then you realize, oh, these my folks. Or
they're like, shoot, I have a SUV that I'm sleeping in, but you can get the back seat.
Get in the back seat, bro. Let's do this. Let's play no games. you know.
Right.
So
Right.
for me, you know, I've never, you know, we have our ups and downs. That's in life
Right.
in general.
Right.
But you know, I'm so happy to be where I am today, because it's not about me. It's about being able to be a testament for something that I wanted so bad.
Yeah.
I wanted it so bad, and I got it. You know, like
Yeah.
I have been, the fact that I'm on a Emmy winning show,
Yeah.
playing the
Yeah.
mother of Zendaya, an Emmy winner.
Yeah.
Like, people are like, oh, but you just the mom on the show. No, you don't get it.
No.
You don't get it. It's
Yeah.
bigger. It's bigger than that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so for me, I'm over the moon. I know this is just the beginning. It took me 18 years to get there.
Hey, that's, I mean, but once you get there, hallelujah, and you know, with regards, first let me just tell y'all my with the show. So when Euphoria first premiered on HBO, I think I texted you and I watched the first episode, but because it hits close to home, you know, it's dealing with teenagers and teenage girls, and I was like, oh, this is a lot, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot, but it's a couple of things, like the storylines are dope. Visually, the show is dynamic. Like, I've actually had conversations with my eldest, and we're just amazed at the look of the show. It's very defined, you know. And but I said, you know what, I gotta ease into the show.
Yeah.
And then the quarantine happened, and we, you know, had them all saved on the DVR.
Yeah.
And I watched them, and I was like, yo, this is, and once I could get past, and it's funny because, you know, you become a parent and you're like, these aren't things that you had concerns with before, but now you're watching like, I don't know if I should watch this, you know.
Yeah.
But
I don't have kids, but I've had so many people tell me like, yo, and their kids are like 8 and 9 years old. They're like, yo, this is wild. This is this. And I'm like, yeah, man, but you know, you gotta stay in the loop. You gotta stay tapped in, because it's a new world, and kids are not how we were when we were kids, because we didn't have cell phones. Thank you, Yeshua. We didn't have, because if we had cell phones when I was a teenager,
you would have been in Atlanta earlier than September 11th.
Oh, it would have been not good. I wouldn't be sitting here, right here on the phone.
Been at Freaknik when you were 15.
Listen, play no games, because I was grown. Funny. I was hot to tot. I was one of those girls.
Take me to the audition though. Like when you auditioned for Euphoria, when you first had the first audition, when you read the material, was it multiple pages? Was it only a handful of pages? And what was that process like when you first, did you have a feeling that you were reading for something special?
Well, when I read the script, because I did have the script, and I didn't know who was attached. I didn't know who was producing, I didn't know anything. It was a script, and then there were sides, and I just was like, this is wild. I was like, okay. I'm like, can they put this on TV? I'm like,
right.
You know, and so, you know, I was going back and forth like, yo, it was so wild. I had to question, like, you know, and then I said, you know what? My job as an actor is to bring this character to life, and that's what I'm going to do. And I walked in, and I was, in my mind, I was prepared. I had been, you know, praying about it, like, just like with any audition, you know, like, if it's meant for me, it's meant for me. And so when I walked in, I saw a lot of actors that I grew up watching on TV, and I'm like, you're not getting this one, but you go in and you do the best you can. Right. And so I had to gather myself, and then I said, okay, Nika, do your best. Did my best, and then my agent called, and he goes, you're on hold. And I'm like, okay. And
after one audition,
no callback, no producer session, nothing. And so then he goes, oh yeah, and by the way, you'll be playing the mom of Zendaya. And I was like, what? Like, you know, it was just like, every time it just got sweeter and sweeter and sweeter. And you know, because that don't happen, right? Like, you don't go in and audition one time and you get a gig, especially on a caliber of that. You know, you go through the ringer, you go through producer session, chemistry. You know, I that's what I had been used to. Just every time, kind of proving. Okay, you're not right. You're right. Maybe you're right. You're on hold. You're on a veil. You got a pen. It's like people don't understand that part of being an actor. You know, there are so many disappointments that just it comes with the territory. You're going to experience it unless you're just, I don't know, Meryl Streep carbon copy or something. I'm sure she's gone through her, you know, amount of disappointment.
Yeah. No, it's that's what you saw my face when you said they called you back and said, you're coming in to read. I'm like, oh wow, because as you said, and for those that are watching that may not realize it, you know, some shows, like, you know, you have the first audition, you have the call back, you have the producer session. You might have a chemistry, then you go to the production, then the network. You know, you've gone through this 7 times, and they're not only, when they do that, they're not only doing it to see how well you deliver the material under that type of pressure, but they also are getting to know you. They're getting to say, okay, how is dealing with all this pressure? Is this someone we want to deal with? That you're still in a pleasant mood, that you're still, amicable to be with, because you're going to be on set with these people for 18 to 20 something hours.
And also they, you know, my coach used to always tell me, you don't go in to book the role, you go in to book the room. You know, it's not about booking that role. It's about doing a great job so that casting keeps bringing you back, and they want to see you in a project that's right for you. Because initially this role was a supporting role. It wasn't a leading series regular role. And so the first episode, we did our thing, and we did the improv for we improv the fight scene. So the fight scene was not written. It literally just says Rue and Leslie have a fight. And so, you know, I'm like, well, what kind of fight? Because, you know, I'm a black mama. Y'all want me to go black, or y'all want me to go Monique Black, or y'all want me to go, you know, Maya Rudolph Black? Like, what kind of black? Because I need to know. So, you know, it was very intense, because I had just lost my uncle to an overdose, and I also have a friend, a very dear friend, who's on drugs. We actually used to model together, and I had just saw her like on the streets. Just it was bad, and so I had all of that to work with, and I'm like, okay, I need to save my friend. I need to save my uncle. And so that was my subtext. And it just, as you see, it was just like so explosive and so just guttural, where everybody on set was just like crying, and it was unreal. It was unreal. And that's when they decided to write more for me. The series regular. So, you know, I'm glad I was able to go there, though, because my thing, I'm such a fool, and I'm such a goofball, you know, and it will be times where me and Z and Storm were laughing and kicking in, and I said, I made that mistake one time, and then I said, no, I can't, because I have to be ready to go when they say action. I can't blow this, and so I had to go back to my trailer and say, okay, this is not a comedy. This is not stand up. This is not a character. This is not a sketch character. This is real, and I need you to tap in.
Yeah, no, it was powerful. You know that now hearing that story, now I'm gonna go rewatch it because now having the backstory behind it is good. Because I remember watching, I was like, again, because I know you as funny Nika that has range, but then seeing that, I'm like, oh, you know, I was like, yo, and I think I texted you, I was like,
Yep.
yo, you
I
did
remember
that,
you
yeah,
texting me like, yo, this is wild. I was like,
yeah.
yeah, and that was I think that was the scene that kind of like brought me into my confidence as an actor, you know. And I'm so grateful for HBO and A24 and all those people just giving me a chance to you know, show my, you know, craftsmanship.
And y'all are, I believe you told me that you were about to start shooting season 2 right before the world
Closed.
changed yet again. Yeah, it shut down.
It shut
You know,
down.
so
We were literally like 2 days before. And then, you know, they shut everything down. And then we just shot a bridge episode for it won't be season 2 technically, but it'll be a couple episodes that will come out towards the end of the year.
okay.
And so, and then we'll start up again, God willing, in 2021 for season 2 officially.
Right. Are you, you know, because now, being that the show has gone from just a show to, you know, this cultural, this part of the lexicon, right? You know, and you've seen it with everything from, you know, going back to The Sopranos and Sex and the City to now Lovecraft Country. And you're also, not only is it a hit show, but it transcends you know, color lines, because, you know, you have a strong, the lead of the show is a Black woman, but you also, you know, from Black Panther on, you know, now is a moment, you know, where there's this sort of, you know, revolution of great shows and great projects with Black leads. Do you feel more pressure now because now people are looking like, oh, what are they going to do next?
And when you say what do they do, you mean just in terms of the show, or just like
the show in general, and you being part of, you know, the one of the pieces that helps the show become, you know, because I think I saw someone wrote in the comments, they said Zendaya won the Emmy, but you were a part of that company that helped her win that Emmy. You doing that fight scene helped, you know, push that voting to where people saw how amazing she was, because you also were amazing.
Well, you know, like I told you, like for me, it's literally a stepping stone. Like there's nothing that I can't do because I've done it. Like literally. So everything at this point it's like I'm in the second phase of my career. You know, like everything that I've done before Euphoria, it prepared me from where I am right now. Like if I want to go and do a sketch show, I can do a sketch show. If I want to do a stand-up special, I can do a stand-up special. I think Euphoria prepared me for that because I worked with such amazing actresses. Like Zendaya, like brought it all every day. She brought her heart and soul to Rue. Storm Reed, another great actress. I mean, we would be looking at her like, yo, like, how are you able to just, you know, cry and emote? And we just like, we over here struggling, like
squeezing, trying to squeeze.
Storm is just like, Wah! I'm like, I mean, just, and so pure in her talent, you know what I mean? Like, because at the older you get with acting, sometimes you can build up certain little things that you do that you've kind of nuances that you've created. But, you know, Stormy is just so good and so natural and authentic, and she's doing big things, you know, like she has her own production company with her mom. Like she's the next, you know, mogul when it comes to kind of creating projects for people of color. And so I look at these young girls and I'm inspired. I created, during COVID, I created a tech startup company called Jelly, that will serve the next generation, the future generation, the past generation of people of color who want to be in the industry and navigate in a way where they're connecting with industry leaders. And so, I'm just like, I can't be slacking, man. I gotta stay on point.
Yeah. I was going to use that as a segue to get into your Jelly. Is it an app, and how can people because I told you, I said, as soon as I heard you talking about it on the radio, I was like, oh, I'm in. As soon as you said it, I said, you let me know you need me, and I'm there. Can you elaborate more on what Jelly is and how because it's philanthropical as well.
Yes, of course. So Jelly, the actual word means storyteller in West African culture. And so for me, my story is everything. Just how we're just talking about things, how I got to where I am. That's my story. And so I want people to know that they have a community where they can share their story. And so Jelly is that community, that online community where you tap in, you create your profile, you realize your what it is that you want to do. Because I think a lot of times the younger generation, they don't know that there's so much to do in the industry that just is not just, you're a writer, you're an actor, you're a director. You can be so many things in between, from developing an idea all the way to distributing it. So we want kids and young adults and, regular folks like us and older folks, whoever, to have that resource and access to link up with people who are like-minded. And the app will come later. Right now, I just want people to go on the website, see if this is something they want to tap into, jeli.life, jelly.life. We're doing some rebranding, so stay tuned. I gotta make it, I gotta put a little more stank on it, you know what I'm saying?
Add some cocoa butter.
I gotta add some cocoa butter, some shea butter, some castor oil, So, and that's the great thing about having ideas. They're always evolving, right? Like you can come up with something and then that idea turns into something else. Oh no, actually it's Jelly, JELI.life, like life, full of life.
Living life. Right.
LIFE. And so, it's like Jellywood, welcome to Jellywood. It's definitely going to be a space for people of color to come and tell their stories and control the narrative and bring to light a lot of things that may or may not have a platform for those projects to live. So, and we just want to connect. That's the thing about me. I just like connecting with people. Like, you know that about me. I'm always, every time I come to New York, I'm like, yo, Dean, what's up? What's up? Let's hang out. Let's go grab some vegan food. You like, I don't know about no damn vegan food, but I may be out in Brooklyn or something. But
and hold up, you win your Afro wig. I cut it like 3 weeks ago, so you win.
No, I'm about to cut. Look, you already know I'm about to cut all of this off. I'll be bald head next week. I do not care about hair at all.
Exactly.
And I totally had a blank moment because I'm sitting here and I was working on my website and I was twisting my hair and I'm like, wait, I got to do something at 11 o'clock. So I put on this hat and I was like, okay, I got to try to look cute. That's why I keep like tucking these little braids in because
nice. It's working. It's flat.
It's my crown. I have to accept it no matter what. But yeah, so I'm excited for you. I've done the Tiffany Haddish bald head. I've shaved my head 3 times already.
Right.
And I think now would be just kind of like, it would just be, people like to compare you. I don't want to compare.
Did that already.
I think I'm still your hairstyle actually.
Yeah. You put that.
Yeah, put the little thing on there. You know, get the.
Yeah. No, I get the just enough. You know, it's because as you and I have spoken about, people don't realize that Afro is work. You know, Afro
Yes.
is work, and your forearms, just picking out your hair,
Oh my gosh.
it
And
takes
I have
effort.
major shrinkage. Like if I wet my hair right now, it'll be your height. And then I
I
gotta
believe
pull
it.
it out. I gotta twist it. It's a
Yeah,
lot, but you know,
yeah.
I
So
love my 4C, 4B hair.
right,
I love it. Happy to be nappy.
exactly. Own it, girl. Own it and stay fierce.
Happy to be
Well,
nappy.
well, listen. Do you have anything aside from season two? Do you have and season two and Jelly.life? Do you have anything else that you want us to know before we let you go?
No, I also have my website,
Okay.
nikaking.com, Nika King, King.com. I am also partnering with my mother to open a vegan restaurant down in Florida
Nice.
called Earth to Sharon. So just follow me on on all socials that I am Nika King, and I like to keep my content varied, whether that's
Yeah.
vegan recipes, whether that's me working out. Not really, but I just said that. Uh, sometimes I work out. Sometimes I
Right.
work
We
out,
all do.
but I'm not gonna front. I like the idea of working out.
Right.
Yeah.
I told you in the morning, I was supposed to, go out to the park at 8 o'clock in the morning. But look, they said it's supposed to rain, so I'm like, hey,
Ah,
I tried.
I
I
tried.
tried.
I
Not on
tried.
me. That ain't nothing but the Lord.
Next time, I got you, Rain. I got you,
That
Rain.
ain't, that ain't nothing but the Lord. Well, Nika, appreciate you coming
All right.
on here. Much love, much continued success.
Thank you.
I look forward to I fly out also y'all can check me out this weekend at the comedy club in Kansas City this
Okay.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But we'll
Wait,
definitely link up.
so you're doing stand up? How's that going?
You know what? It's been I was working all of September. I did let me see. I did Minneapolis,
Hmm.
all of the clubs. I did Minneapolis, Rhode Island, and Indianapolis, and then I was in Long Beach last week,
Hmm.
which I'll talk to you about after we cut off.
Okay.
But everything's been socially distanced shows,
Hmm.
but the shows are dope because they're actually indoors in the comedy clubs,
Oh, okay.
but they have a maximum capacity of about 75.
Oh, okay.
So the first club, Acme in Minneapolis, people were a little further back, which was
Hmm.
fine. Some of the clubs are actually putting like a little glass, not glass, but like a partition up to
Hmm.
keep people away. I think one of the biggest challenges, and you probably experience and understand this, is, we artists, especially live performers, like feeling the audience,
Yeah.
both literally and figuratively.
Hmm.
After the show, the whole meet and greet
Yeah.
and kicking it
Hmm.
with people, and yo, man, y'all was having a bad day, but
Right.
you made me,
Right.
all of that. um, that's the part that you miss, because at the end, usually right before I end, I let people know, listen, COVID's going on, so
Right.
I'll catch you out next time, but I'm not doing any meet and greets this time. And there are people that are disappointed, but it's like, yo, we gotta make sure we stay healthy, and you don't know where I've been, just like I don't know where you've been.
Right. Right. But
So
you've been on the road, so that's cool. Keeping safe at
yeah,
the
yeah.
same time. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I wear two masks on the plane.
Uh-huh.
Shout out to Marina Franklin, and she's like, make sure you wear, because it's airborne. So wear
Yeah.
your sunglasses on the plane. So I'm bundled like people on
Marina,
the
look,
plane like,
Marina don't play.
yeah, she
Listen,
don't play.
I asked
She
her to come
don't
help me
play.
with an audition. She was like, I'll zoom in. I'll zoom in now.
Right,
I ain't coming
right,
over there. But
right,
she's like,
right,
I'm
right,
one of
right,
those people. I don't play go. And I
right.
can appreciate that.
No,
I
I
can
get it.
appreciate that. Yeah.
I totally get
So,
it.
well, safe travels.
Thank you, thank
Have
you.
a
You too.
wonderful weekend of shows, and
Thank you,
we'll
thank you.
have a conversation about Long Beach.
Yeah.
You
I'll
can
hit you. I'll
you
hit you
can
after.
you can
I'm
drop
gonna sign off
drop
with.
the tea. You drop the tea
Yeah.
later.
Yeah. I got you. But you know what? I'll talk to y'all in a second. Thank you, Nika. Thank you for hanging out. Nika King in the building. Y'all make sure you if you haven't watched Euphoria, you can watch it on demand right now on HBO. And we look forward to seeing you on season 2 of Euphoria, of the Emmy-winning Euphoria, and also supporting JELI.life, LIFE. So thank you, Nika King,
No
for hanging
problem.
out.
All right. Peace and
Obviously.
blessings. Okay.
All
Bye.
right, you too. Love. Peace, peace. Hey, and thank you for hanging out. You know what? Okay, there she goes. I want to thank y'all for hanging out with me. I saw someone ask if I'm going to be in Denver anytime soon. Not as of yet, but that can change. I had to get back on. Yes, shout out to all the frontliners, and shout out to all of you all for hanging out with me. I appreciate everybody that comes through every week, every Monday night. We do this 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific, and we will catch you next week on the Futhamuckin Protocol live on IG. All love. I will if she's not on, I'll let Nika know that you said she means a lot to you, Queen Rizzo. And peace to the rest of y'all, all right? All love, two fingers. Always.